attracts you to a booth, and on the flip side, what repels you from a booth? Attractors, repellents. Love to hear that from both of them.
Well, free gifts, really? No.
The TV.
It's so funny. I think when I think about, and I've been to so many trade shows in multiple industries, lighting, apparel. I mean, and it's so funny because I kind of joke about it, but you know, all the gifts and the bags and all that stuff. And ironically, what happens a lot of times, people are giving out bags thinking they're helping you because you have something to carry all your stuff in, and you end up with 14 bags, and you need a bag for the bag. But I think what attracts me really is just that organization, that, believe it or not, just being able to go in. I mean, it depends if we're talking about an existing partner or a perspective, but someone that's brand new, like you said, and they're just trying to get my attention.
Mm-hmm.
From a salesmanship standpoint, it's ask questions. You gotta ask questions. I mean, you know, we call it verbally throwing up. It's like when you're just spewing information about your company, and I get it. I mean, because I've been there for my whole life, and you get passionate, and you think you know the buyer. I can tell you stories that are so funny about things that just really backfired, but ask questions about me, about the company, about my pain, about my problem that I'm trying to solve. And because what you're trying to do in 60 seconds or whatever you've got is establish a relationship. And that sounds trivial. It sounds like a pretty weak relationship in 60 seconds, but the only way that you're going to get there is ask questions. That's the only prayer you have, is to, especially if we don't know each other, you know, ask questions. And then the other thing is absolutely always be willing to talk about, kind of blow that bomb up front, of anything that you know or people that you know with my company.
Yeah.
In my case, I'm kind of new at the buying part of it. And so there's so many people in booths that I see where they know Mr. Hardy. And, you know, it turns out I was talking to somebody, and I'm just making this up, but for a week, and we're trying to source a new product, and it turns out that the VP's cousin is married to the something. And I'm going, so let's tell me what you know, and then ask me questions about why I'm there and how you can help me. And that's very powerful to me.
So, in a well-organized booth, a booth staff that is gonna not want to pounce and be all about them, but show me you know me, take time to understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a quick example of something that doesn't work for me. You go to these, you'll see a booth, maybe it's a broker, and they may have 50 different items that they represent. And they have samples going, and they've spent some serious money on this thing, and they've got staff everywhere, and things are going, lots of great energy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably 30 different flyers, from postcard size to fold outs to 8.5 by 11s and all these things. Well, remember, as a buyer, we're trying to gather information. We can only take so many notes and so many people's names and trying to find out who your person is, that I get home and I'm interested in that frozen pizza slice or whatever it was. I've got to pull all that together and figure it out. So a well-organized flyer with your items, where you ship from, my contact number, and you know, that kind of thing. It just, as simple as that is, it does wonders just for the post.
And then also you spoke to having so much different product in the booth, maybe overwhelm, maybe less is more, maybe have some form of a hook, a showstopper, not try to sell everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, once a person once told me, a mentor once told me, you know, if you have a bowl of mixed nuts and you're the peanut, and you're the cashew, and I'm the pecan, I'm not going to try to be the peanut, right? Be who you are and be the best peanut you can be, right? And so when you got all this stuff coming at you, it can be great if you, but the only way you're really going to do business like that is if you just get really lucky and the timing's perfect, and I'm looking to source hydroponic local lettuce, and you have 50 things up there, and there's not even a picture on the wall of the lettuce or whatever it may be, or on your list, but you just happen to mention lettuce and we get involved in this conversation. Other than that, it's just not happening.
Yeah. So, what repels then from a booth for you? You're walking down the aisle, you glance toward it, you go, oh, heck no.
People that just don't want to be there. You know, I mean, if it's, and it's funny because sometimes it can even be a booth with somewhat of a pretty good amount of energy, and you can still tell. Now, sometimes they were out too late the night before, whatever it may be. We've all been there, but if they don't sort of want to be there, or if there's no decision makers there, if you know it's not good enough, I don't think, just to be present. Some companies will literally spend the money, many.
Yeah.
I can tell you other industries, but they'll spend lots of money on booths the size of houses, and the decision makers and the executives, or even the reps for that particular region, they're not even there. And so, but they've got people handing out, you know, pretty people in the front handing out stuff.
Yeah.
So what turns me off is just, if you don't want to be there, I probably don't either. I mean, it's one of those deals.
That's well said, yeah, that's real clear. Attracts, repels.
Well, attracts are very similar. It's a booth that has a hook that attracts my attention, well lit, clean booth. I love booths with fresh produce. Obviously, that
Sure.
excites me and attracts my attention. Sometimes it could just be a solution provider. What is the solution that you have for me? If you're a solution provider that attracts my attention, that hooks me. But I think the key is, it gets back to what we just talked about and Larry talked about, is the individuals in the booth.
Yeah.
Eye contact.
Yeah.
Many times you can't walk by. If somebody catches your eye, you are automatically hooked in, and then you start that conversation, and that conversation by that person starts moving you in the direction that they want you to go in by. You get an intimate question and the personal relationship type of feeling, and the key is to make that person, whoever I am, or if I'm on the sell side, is make that person feel like they're the most important person at the exhibit hall at that point in time, because then you're hooked them
Because they should
in.
be.
Then you start the conversation.
Right.
So the people in your booth, are they energetic? Do they really want to be there? Are they facing the flow of traffic, or is their back to the booth and they're checking their text message? Because that's what's annoying. And if they're sitting down, they're on the phone, they're not really looking like they really want to be there. I could walk right by and I may miss something that I really need, and I don't even realize it. So the people in the booth, I think, are as key as the beautiful booth. Really, the people are probably even more important.
It reminds me, and we've all probably done this, especially on the exhibitor side of it. We used to call it like the badge stare.
Oh, yeah, badge gawkers. Yeah.
Badge gawkers, and so you never made eye contact because they'd come up to your booth and you're like, "Hi, how are you?" And you're going like this, and you're looking at their badge, and
Right.
you're trying to figure out what it says, and then you got all these buyers that will turn their badge around.
Right.
And I always just used to make me so mad. It's like, why don't you just want them to know your name? I mean, you know, that's what it's here for, because they get tired of people staring at their bags the whole time, trying to figure out, you know, are they with Walmart? You know,
Well, the reason they turn it around though is because of the people in the booth that are not good at it.
Right.
That's
that
exactly right.
pounce on you
It
rather
counts,
than.
yeah.
people just want you to engage as them and ask them questions.
Yeah, so-
Get to know them.
So attract, look and act like you want to be there for your booth staff. Seek first to understand, right? Don't jump in and start pitching products right away. Take time to understand them. Show me you know me, right? Anything that you can learn in advance of your target customer. Hey, I noticed you just added a new section in your store, whatever, right? Stuff like that. Attract, repel.